This is the Big O Show. 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 This is the Big O Show.
Where can you drive the new 2025 Acura Integra for only $289 a month? There's just one place, Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
For over 16 years, EJDConstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDConstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDConstruction.com.
When presenting an award to an employee, athlete, executive, or fantasy GM, make sure you call Orvieto's Awards and More. For 35 years, these custom award specialists have been providing plaques, trophies, custom framing, while providing state-of-the-art laser and computerized engraving, UV printing, and glass crystal etching. They do all their engraving and printing in-house for quality control. Call Charles at 305-949-8098 or visit them at orvietosawards.com. Orvieto's Awards and More, where recognition is rewarding.
Where can you drive the new 2025 Acura RDX for only $399 a month? There's just one place, Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
Oh, I think I know what this is. Houston, we have a package. Hello?
No matter where you are, the Sloman Shield home security system guards your home. With next-gen perimeter protection, 24/7 monitoring, and interior motion sensing. And right now, get a free Sloman Shield security system and doorbell camera, all professionally installed, for free.
Shield your world, the Sloman Shield.
It starts every morning before the sun comes up. Projects are laid out. Plans are made. Equipment is fueled and loaded with inventory to handle all service requests. Orders are given to an army of skilled landscape maintenance professionals, certified arbor trimmers, irrigation technicians, and licensed pest management experts who fan out to communities and businesses all over South Florida. Experienced, on time, and dependable. Our staff is fully trained, licensed, and insured. Contact us by phone, email, social media, or through our website to answer all your landscape questions. We are Cutter's Edge. Total Landscape Solutions.
After 40 years, the Big Cheese Miami is still producing great Italian food. They started in 1984. Since then, they've been winning awards while being voted the best inexpensive Italian restaurant in Miami. Visit them for great food, amazing service. Witness the decades of Cane's memories. The walls are like a Miami Hurricanes Hall of Fame. The Big Cheese delivers anything on its menu or party platter menu to your home, office, or even a park for a picnic. Located at 8080 Southwest 67th Avenue, Miami. Call 305-662-6855. TheBigCheeseMiami.com, where they serve large portions at family prices.
It's big. It's gigantic. It's the Toyota of Hollywood Super Sale. Over 2,000 Toyotas from just $17,988. Like a Corolla LE, not $24,000, $17,988. Buy with 0% financing, 0 down. Join the fun and get a super deal at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street. Open till midnight.
South Florida, listen carefully. Osmani Garcia with Omega Realty Group is changing the game. He's not just listing homes. He's guaranteeing to sell yours in 30 days or less, or he'll buy it himself. No excuses, no delays, no fine print games. This is real. If you're serious about selling, call 305-440-1990 and see if your home qualifies. Osmani Garcia delivers results. Osmani Garcia, the home of the 30-day sale guaranteed, where guarantees are backed by action. Call now, don't wait. This market won't wait for you. Restrictions apply. Call 305-440-1990.
Welcome to Caneswear. New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, Caneswear has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot Miami fans shop.
Before you buy or lease a Honda, Volkswagen, Hyundai, or any other model, compare Subaru, rated #1 in safety at Subaru of Pembroke Pines. Buy with 0.9% financing, 0 down. Forester with symmetrical all-wheel drive, $259 a month. Crosstrek with symmetrical all-wheel drive, $239 a month. During the Subaru A Lot to Love event at Subaru of Pembroke Pines, South Florida's #1 volume Subaru retailer.
When it comes to your smile, confidence is so important. At Moody S Dental, they provide the services to get your smile back. This family-run practice prides itself by offering the latest technology to give your family the best experience possible. Moody S Dental has been in business for over 30 years with offices in Hialeah and Plantation. They accept most major dental insurances. They provide free new patient exams, 20% off select treatments. To qualify, please follow us on Instagram at moodys.dental. Moody S Dental has been in business for over 30 years. To schedule an appointment in Hialeah, call 305-821-0231 and Plantation 954-692-6825. From Invisaligns, dental implants, same-day crowns, and the preventative care and preservation to get your smile back. Go to moodysdental.com to find out more and tell them Big O sent you.
If you're looking to take your home or business to the next level, then RM Contractors can assist you. RM specializes in new residential turnkey, new commercial turnkey, home and office remodeling. Call them for free estimates. Serving all of South Florida, licensed and insured. Call Ray, 305-345-3649. You work hard to create the perfect atmosphere. You dream it, we'll build it. RM Contractors, 305-345-3649 or Instagram at RMC Fisher Island.
Hi, this is Jeff Welt from Welt & Rayom. Dan and I have been in business together for over 22 years. We're not your typical lawyers. When Dan's not working in the office, he's flying his stunt plane. When I'm not in the office, I'm either getting tattooed, bowling, riding a motorcycle, or going to concerts. We might not be your typical attorneys, but we are aggressive attorneys, and we'll do whatever it takes to get you what you deserve. Consultations are always free, Call us anytime, 24/7.
Welton Rayom can help.
Where can you drive a new Acura ZDX for only $439 a month? There's just one place, Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
Good morning! And it is a beautiful morning, isn't it? The Panthers, you know, the real team in town. It's not that soft-ass Heat, Inter Miami, Dolphins. You know, these franchises that fold at any moment and really don't have stars, you know what I'm saying, that can come through. Because, boy, Inter Miami's... Anyway, we'll get to that one. So, Panthers, Studley. It's a beautiful thing. We got the market about 1,000 points right now. 1,000 points right now up after the U.S.-China deal. Like, you know, it's falling in line, you know, obviously. So super positive, obviously. It doesn't matter what side you're on. Caspa morning. What are we up? Like 17% right now. 1785. And we started getting into Caspa at 10, 11 cents. And then it went all the way down to 6. High fives, too. I think I got like a little bit. I think I got a 5.9. But I loaded up in the 6-7 range. And we are sitting at 12.5 cents right now. So, you know, our bag is just overflowing. Because we bought the dip. We kept buying. When it goes down, you don't panic. You continue to add because when it bounces back. So any of you out there that happen to be on the Caspa bandwagon, you are loving it this morning. Loving it. It's all kinds of stuff going on. Bitcoin's up just a little bit, barely. Jasmine's up like 11%, by the way. Solana's up 4%. XRP's up 10%. Hedera's up 10%. It's, you know, it's a beautiful thing, man. It's a beautiful thing. I'm loving it. It's a great Monday. You know, even if Inter lost, you know, although I'm kind of seeing the Inter thing and it's not looking good lately. But the Panthers, that was awesome. By the way, don't forget, if you are interested in a Subaru, you use our QR code, you will get $500 off your next purchase of a Subaru. So if you're looking for it, there it is. Just in case. NorCal says my average for Cass is 7.2. He's up like 40% right now. Maybe a little more. It might be a little more. Might be 42, 43% or something. I don't know what it is. You have to do the math for me. I'm trying to do it right off the fly, which, you know, is never really a good thing. But, yeah, you're way up already. That's because you bought the dip. So congratulations to you. You know what I'm saying? That's a smart investor right there in NorCal. Smart investor. He didn't fold like a cheap oh my God, it's panic. Oh, Trump took out this tweet and knocked out the markets. No, it gave you an opportunity to buy. You know? Anyway. So it is what it is. And we are going to have some fun today. We got a lot of things to talk about on the show. A lot of juicy stuff. Ira will join us at the bottom of the hour. We'll talk about Pat Riley's depressing press conference. Kind of what I got to, at least that's what I came away from it super depressed. But hey, man, what can I tell you? We'll get into that also. But last night, the Panthers, they did what they were supposed to do. Toronto held home ice, and now the Panthers held home ice. They are at a streak of allowing one goal in the last 113 minutes. They have figured out a way to kind of limit these guys, which is just absolutely amazing. When we're talking about, the firepower that Toronto has. Good team, man. Toronto's a really good team overall. So I'm not here to, say, oh my God, how are the Panthers tied? Why aren't they leading? Toronto's a hell of a team, and Cats maybe didn't come into the first two games as prepared, and they didn't play well. They weren't as sharp, but they lost 1-goal games. And last night, these guys got shut out, and they lost by 2 goals here. And all of a sudden now you're wondering, okay, is the tide turning in this series? Because it wasn't like you outlasted somebody, which is what happened in the first 2 games. Now you're getting more handled now, and they're frustrated. By the way, Ty Dummy is back. Did you see that? Ty Dummy is back. So Ty Dummy has a son named Max Dummy. And you know what? The spirit of Neil Rogers lives on, because that's what a dummy does, what he did yesterday to Barkov at the end of that game. Hopefully he gets suspended actually for that. Okay. I don't know the rules, but can they get suspended for that? I would imagine so, right? I mean, because it was dirty, dude. That was like, I get it that the game ended, but that was dirty as hell. So I don't know. What do you think?
I would think so, just because they've got to send a message, because at the end of the game, it was headhunting.
Right.
Chuck got hit one time. Barkov, of course, at the very end gets hit. And then Rodriguez as well. Like there was a couple instances where, I mean, again, I know in hockey, you try to get the other team to commit a penalty, and so you get the advantage and things like that. But to me, it looked like they were headhunting at the end when they realized, like, oh, we got to figure something else out, because what we're doing is not working anymore.
Right. Yeah. Their guys are getting shut out, dude. And that was just absolutely awesome. That was awesome to watch, to me, that was super cool to see, because I think they're just getting in their heads. They're playing their physical style. I think they've gotten a hold of this series and kind of figured these guys out, and the adjustments that Paul made in changing up the lines a little bit obviously has done, wonders. So now this is going to be beautiful. And by the way, the Cats now get a couple of extra days to rest, because they don't play till Wednesday. I find this to be a positive for the Cats too at the same time, because now Toronto has to sit an extra day, which has not happened so far in this series. It's been on, off for the first 4 games. So now Toronto's got 2 straight losses, a shutout, embarrassing, frustrating loss, and now they've got to stew on it for a couple of days, which is beautiful. And then now you got the cheap shot at the end, which now adds an edge to the game on Wednesday for the Cats. Now they know, okay, we're in their heads. Now let's go, because they came out the way they came out last night. If they come out like that, this series ends in 6. If they come out in game 5 like they did in game 4, I feel really good about the Cats winning 4 straight. You know what I'm saying? And again, just the character of this team, the toughness, the clutchness. Doesn't matter if it's Bennett or Verhage. Now Marchand has joined the group, or Kachuk or Barkov, or it's just endless. You know what I'm saying? It's Lundell is another guy. You know what I'm saying? It's endless what happens on the ice with this team. It's got a bunch of guys that are they're all dying to contribute. And they all do it one way or another. It's freaking awesome, dude. And just a lot of fun. Everything you want, every characteristic you would want the Dolphins to have, it's in the Panthers. Every characteristic you would love for the Miami Heat to have, it's in the Panthers. Inter Miami, same thing. Only team in town. By the way, the Canes need that too. Only team in town, top to bottom, is doing everything the right way right now. Everybody else is lost some way or another, and they can't find their way. And I'll repeat it again. Okay? I don't know how many of you exist out there, but I just realized when it comes to sports, I'm probably in South Florida. I'm part of a group of the most blessed human beings ever when it comes to sports in South Florida. Okay, because I'm 7-8 when the Dolphins win the Super Bowls, right? And did that ever happen again, that they were that good, that dominant? No. I lived the Canes, 4 titles between 83 to 91. I know they won another one in 2001, but I don't include that with those 4 because it was 10 years later. It was kind of like a whole different era. And there was like, what's that called? Probation, everything in between. There was an ugly time there for the Canes, and they had to kind of bounce back. Obviously, totality, it's there, but the stretch of winning those 4 championships from 83 to 91. I'm sorry. Hey, Sean, did that ever happen again? Anything close to it at all? How about the Dolphins? Anything close to that? Okay. I lived Wayne Huizenga bringing the Marlins as an expansion team and hiring Dave Dombrowski, the greatest general manager in my lifetime. Okay. In my 58 years on this earth, there is no better general manager. And all his stops prove it. Wherever he's had. Ooh, wow, I just bit my tongue. That hurt. And he built the 87 championship, and he built the 2003. And they won 2 World Series titles in 6 years. Hey, Sean, how the Marlins doing? And have they won 2 titles in 6 years lately? Just wondering.
Not that I'm thinking. No.
Okay. They can't win 2 games in a 3-game series anymore. By the way, run differential, they lost 2 out of 3 this weekend. The Friday show, did you guys learn what's going on? How the math will build up? Frankie, you're still worried about 100 losses? Anyway, too funny. And then, Sean, I saw the Heat win a title in 2006 and then in 11 and 12. So, how the last 10 years working out? They winning titles like that, Sean?
Not really.
Oh, okay. When it happens, it never happens again. It never happens again. Not in your lifetime. Not in your lifetime. Do you understand that? Don't fight it. It's a fucking tsunami. of facts. The Dolphins were never the same again. The Canes have never been the same again. The Marlins have never been the same again, and the Heat certainly don't look like they're the same. Not even close, dude. 06, 05 to the shit we're watching now. Big three to the shit we're watching now. Am I seeing Caspa over 13 cents? Am I seeing Caspa over 13 cents? So it never happens. So don't sit there with your buddy and saying, "Oh, dude, don't worry," the blind ass fan. No, we're going to win, 14 games this year for the Dolphins. Now we're going to turn the corner and we're going to be great. And hey, no, the Heat, they're going to recapture that magic again. No, they're not. No, they're not. Okay. Might happen 30, 40 years from now, 50 years from now, in another lifetime. By the way, it'll happen maybe for one team. It'll never happen like this again. So if the Panthers go on to win the title again, Dolphin-esque, lose the first one, win the next two, embrace, enjoy, love, record, attend, do everything you can to remember it, because it does not repeat. It does not repeat. We sit here and we wait. And if the Dolphins ever get to a point again, it'll be that they'll get there for one and hopefully they win it. But it won't be that they'll go to 3 straight and they'll win 2 and they'll be super dominant. And in a decade, they'll be in that 70s, they'll be considered like royalty. Those days are gone, bro. Those days are gone, dude. They're so gone. Because just doesn't happen like that. So I'm not sure how many of you are watching. I don't know how many are you going to be downloading this segment. I don't know how many of you are going to be watching it later on your own leisure on YouTube. I don't know how many of you have been in this, in this town like I have my entire lifetime. Born in Belle Glade, raised in Miami. And I'm just telling you from what I've experienced. And I've lived it. And it's just, man, it's like clockwork. It's like clockwork. We don't get to be the Lakers. We just don't. Where you win in the 50s and then you have some success in the early 70s, right? And then you start winning a bunch of titles also in the 80s, and then you got Shaq and Kobe in the late 90s, early 2000s, right? It was, and then you had Kobe and Paul Gasol, and then you had the last championship with LeBron. We're not LA. We're not LA. That's not who we are, dude. I'm sorry, but look at the track record. Are the Dolphins anywhere near to the 70s? Because that's what they need in order to win, right? Dominate on both sides of the line, have a great coach on the sidelines, great defensive coordinator, great front office, great owner, everything. Do they have everything? No. The Heat, do they resemble anything? Because, I saw a dude on Friday say that he's in love with Tyler and wants to extend him. And I don't know how many times I threw up on Friday. Not sure. Embrace what the Panthers are doing. Embrace it. Oh my God. Make love to it. This is your orgasm when it comes to Panthers sports. This is your orgasm. And as you can tell, happens just once in a lifetime. So don't know when this is ever going to happen again and when this run ends, because they've got enough guys and enough years on this that they can extend this thing for a couple of more years. Okay, first they got to see if they can finish this job here, because it's not easy. It's not easy. It's not easy to get to the third straight Stanley Cup when everybody hates you and everybody's going to give you their best every single night. You know, you got to understand that. It's crazy stuff, man. But please embrace the Panthers, because this is some special shit. Okay? Remember, Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show, Cash App or Venmo, and you can make a Bitcoin or Ethereum and Solana and Chainlink donations. Any of those? Nobody's done Solana yet. Chainlink has been done. Ray's actually done it a couple times. So appreciate it. Ho Yoon, thank you for the love on Venmo. He says, have a great day. Sir, I am having a phenomenal day and an even better day thanks to your very generous donation, which you make every single week. And thank you, sir. I appreciate it. I know Sean and myself appreciate it immensely, man. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We really appreciate it. All right. Let's see, Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show, Cash App or Venmo. And speaking of Bitcoin, it is at 104,000. Okay, not bad. 104,000. I like it. I like it. I like it. I like it. Let me see, by the way, where is Bitcoin? Stuck at 94. I got to say, I'm a little wrong here. I thought maybe Bitcoin would pump easily into 95, 96 this morning after the whole China thing. Okay. Really thought so. Really thought so. And by the way, shocked. Okay. I definitely would not have gone the way the orangutan went about this whole thing with the tariffs, and a lot of small businesses, a lot of people were suffering. It's kind of obviously we'll have a little setback from it. And he talked about it. He said there would be, but he was right. By holding the tariffs high, he brought them to the table. I watched the entire Chinese press conference last night from Geneva. Okay. I didn't have to read any articles or any of that shit. I heard it straight from the Chinese. They agreed. There's a deal in place. They've got the parameters. They've agreed on all the major stuff. And something very smart that the Chinese said. I didn't hear this from the American side. I heard from the Chinese side that they have come up with certain delegates on both sides for certain things that affect different parts of trade, so they can communicate with each other and they can like hammer out the dot the I, cross the T's, dot the I's, all that kind of stuff. Because what they did was they agreed on all the major stuff. And then there's also little stuff now that they've got to add along the way. Okay. Dude, like 1,000 businesses went out of business in China. Little businesses all over the place because we weren't buying anything. So both sides needed to, and I got to say, got to give the orangutan credit. He brought him to the table because of that. And I thought this shit would get a year or two, but the problem is the orangutan has to put pressure because he has 18 months. In 18 months, if he doesn't come through and the economy doesn't turn around and starts kicking ass, they'll go Dems, because that's what America does. You know, it's like what we do in sports. We get the coach friendly, the player friendly coach. And then that fails. Oh no, we need the tough-minded coach. Oh, this guy was a jerk. Oh, we need the guy that really understands. And, you know, we go back and forth. So that's what we do. All right, we give it to one side. Okay, no, we'll give it to the other side. So he knows he has to and he had to hurry it all up. He couldn't take the tactical, more decent approach of going to every country and negotiating peacefully and all that without raising any tariffs. He had to do it with a bunch of bluster and create a bunch of hell, which it did. But it got China in. I got to give him credit. So, and I watched the entire Chinese press conference, dude. Okay. They were as positive as communists can be positive. Okay. Which was impressive. I watched it last night around midnight. Finished like 12:20. I think the video's on YouTube. You can check it out for yourself. The good thing is that you don't have to hear the Chinese guy talk. What you do is you forward while you hear him, and then when he stops, the translator takes over, and that's when you stop the video, and then the translator says everything in English that he just said. It's freaking awesome. So you go a little faster on it, so it's pretty cool. Just a little trick if you're interested in that boring ass stuff, that I follow. But if you're an investor, you better follow all this shit, dude. And again, the funniest part is, dude, if it gets done, it's good for all of us. I don't really care what side. See, I don't choose sides. So I don't really care. I just care about Americans. So if they can actually get this whole deal done and this quickly, the UK deals, there's no more mudslinging going on between the US and the UK anymore. The prime minister came on, he kissed his ass, Trump gave him all the love. That's it. They're moving on. They agreed on their parameters. Now they'll hammer the rest out, the final details. So they got the UK, the China deal done. That's huge. That's huge. That's why the markets have exploded. So whatever, man. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? It was done in a crazy fashion, but it got done. So as an investor, it's nice to see that maybe this will help out and straighten some crap out. So that's all I can tell you, man. That's all I can tell you. NorCal is in first there, I see. Appreciate you. By the way, Welton Rayom, you see it right there. Jeff Welton, Daniel Rayom. Unfortunately, a lot of folks have been dealing with issues like bankruptcy. And if you are, hey, listen, that can happen to any of us. Most of us, I'm going to say some of you are blessed, but most of us, we kind of live month to month, man. You know what I'm saying? Businesses live month to month. It's tough. So bankruptcy is something that is happening a lot. Welton Rayom's been helping a lot of people in that area. Homeowner property damage. Remember, we're coming up to storm season now. Okay? We got rain now. Bunch of rain comes. You know how it is. It doesn't have to be a storm. It doesn't have to be a hurricane. It could just be a torrential downpour that just swings by, and all of a sudden you start noticing a leak. So if you got brown spots in your roof and you're going, hey, what's going on? Call Welton Rayom, man. Maybe they can get you a new roof. 954-966-4646. Condo damage, criminal defense, business owner claims, commercial litigation, personal injury. My guys, Jeff Welton, Daniel Rayom, do it all. And the consultation's free. 954-966-4646. All right, Stetsano, good morning to you, sir. Let's see, Jeff in Long Island, Jamie Zoria in San Jose. He is smashing it, and the like button too. NorCal is locked and loaded. One-Eyed Jack is loving his Caspa. Jay Gelfin is in the house, loving some Panthers, I see. Gus 1388, Randy Gonzalez, Nikolai, Cosa Nostra, Lisa, Brian, Juan Rosa, Dolphin Dave. Thank you for supporting the show, Dolphin Dave. That's the important part. Sweet Baby Ray, according to Shams, Giannis is open to trades. Shams, delusional Heat fan here. Greek freak for Hero, Kalo War, and this year's first rounder. And problem is, dude, you can give up the house, and then what do you have left? Nothing. You know what I mean? So, the Heat is screwed. You know, maybe Ira will pump some hopium in your body, but you know, what can I tell you? I'm not going to pump the hopium in your body. They barely have assets. A whole bunch of other teams have way better assets and better structure to make a trade. Memphis or Houston, there's just teams that have more to offer. And sweet baby Ray, bro, don't beat yourself up, man. This is not if he wants to win, this is not the place to come. Not the place to come. Because they're going to give up everything that they have just to get him. And they'll have nothing left. They'll give up their picks, they'll give up players, and then how are they going to set up around him? It just doesn't happen that way, dude. You know? Just doesn't happen that way. So what can I tell you? I have really no hope for the Heat, to be quite honest. When I start looking at their future, I think it's a very bleak one. And when Pat Riley is talking up Tyler Hero and even an extension, and we've talked to him about it, and he's cool, I'm like, oh my God. Wow. The bar has been lowered for the Miami Heat. So if you think you can win with Tyler and Bam, you're delusional, dude. You're absolutely delusional. It's nuts. Yeah, there we go. A little more color. There we go. So, sweet baby Ray, I get it, bro. These Heat-centric sites and all that, and Ethan and 5 Reasons can knock themselves out feeding people with hopium about Giannis or another superstar or Ira or what's it called, Chang or Tim Reynolds or whoever is on that beat. You know, I get it. They've got to get clicks and views, and they've got to get people interested. So they've got to come up with scenarios for this player or that player and feed you all this bullshit like they do every year for all of these stars that they never get. Again, Butler came here because of Wade. Bosh and LeBron because of Wade. This team has not been able to recruit any more stars. Those days are absolutely done. Done. And the proof is in the pudding the last 10 years. And because of the overachieving the last few years, it's set a delusional state for the Heat fans and front office. By the way, they think they're better than what they really are, which is sad. All right, let's get to it. Let's talk a little basketball with Ira Winderman and our Acura of Pembroke Pines Miami Heat and NBA report.
Heat fans, time for the best insight of your favorite team with insider Ira Winderman, exclusively on the Big O Radio Show. It's the Acura of Pembroke Pines Miami Heat and NBA report. Here's Ira Winderman.
All right, Ira, good morning to you, sir. How are you doing?
I was actually hustling. That's why I'm a couple of minutes late here because, as always, Giannis jumps back into the scene again. And this time it's sort of undeniable that there actually could be smoke where there's fire. I don't know if there'll be Heat smoke where there's fire. But the thing is, if he wants out of Milwaukee, we know he's always been enticed by Miami. We know he's close with Bam Adebayo. We know they share the same agent. So you know what, Big O? Before the wisecracks and everything else from you, let's just get this back to the most basic of points. If Giannis Antetokounmpo is available, don't the Miami Heat have a fiduciary right to at least explore?
Oh, they can explore everyone they want, dude. I'm just telling you, they're not going to end up with them. And in the end, because they're in such a weak state, they're very New York Knick-like. They're going to end up in a mellow deal. If let's say by some miracle they accept whatever package Miami is going to hand them, it's pretty much everything that they have. And then he comes here and there's nothing to surround him to end his career, which ends in a disaster. And all this is going to be more freaking hopium from you, from Barry Jackson, from Chang, from Reynolds, from 5 Reasons. All you people, because you're writing basketball, you got to give them hope. Bro, they got no chance. They got no. I saw a president of basketball operations who's in love with Tyler Hero, who actually thinks he should be extended or could, we've talked to him. It's cool.
Or who said the right things. 2 different things, Big O.
It better be the right things, dude.
He's smart enough to do that.
I'm not sure about that anymore, man.
No, Big O, wouldn't you agree you don't devalue your assets publicly, no matter what you think?
I get that.
Last year he didn't devalue Tyler last year when he spoke a year ago, when he told us basically you got to show up for work. No one was trading for Tyler Hero when he played 42 games. We knew that. So we issued the challenge that needed to be issued, and that worked. This time around, I think he very much appreciates what Tyler Hero did for him. But, Big O, I still think he would easily trade Tyler Hero if a better deal became available in a millisecond. That's the difference. He said the right things about his assets. And you know what? He only spoke about 2 players when he spoke last Friday, which is interesting. He only mentioned the names of Bam Adebayo and Tyler Hero. So
the only real tradable players.
Yes. So to your perspective, you're right. It's not like he did a whole sell-a-thon there. It's not like he told us, Nikola Jovic one day will be a great versatile Dirk Nowitzki. Jaime Jaquez Jr. will be the next this or that. He was very candid with all that. But as long as there are possibilities out there, again, I just posted my story at sunsentinel.com because I have a responsibility to say what's going on, to offer the perspective. In my story, I wrote, the only reason, besides no taxes, and it's really nice to live here, that Giannis would want to play in Miami is because of Bam Adebayo. So anyone who's throwing out this utter sort of speculation just to get something out there, no. Bam is not going to Milwaukee for Giannis, just like you said, Big O, because Giannis doesn't want to come here if Bam is not here. But anyone else and everyone else, I think you would agree, should be on the table. We're not saying Big O and Ira Winderman, the Accurate Pembroke Pines Report, are not saying it's enough to get it done. But Big O, you would agree, if you were Riley and you had this opportunity, you would push all of your chips to the middle of the table beyond Bam, wouldn't you?
I would. Yeah, definitely. But again, Bam,
you don't have enough chips.
Yeah, this is all fairy tales that we're all talking about. You have no chips in order to play the real poker, in order to get real stars like you used to be able to bring here. And really, the only real, there's 2 directions you can go. You're not getting the star, so you can forget it. Door number 1, you can forget about Giannis and any other star that becomes available, because unless it's like Zion or something, you're not going to have to pay much for that slop. Right. But outside of that, everybody else, you're pretty much out of it as it is. So for me, there's 2 roads.
Okay.
You go by the same one that you're at now, and you stay with Bam and Tyler and try to build around them and try to get the 3rd star. Or if the Durant stuff, right? You're not going to win shit that way either. You're done. The best way, the only road you should take,
okay,
you can unload your 2 stars or so-called stars and get whatever amount of picks you can get from those guys and restart from the beginning. Reboot it all the way down. I know they don't want to do that. And so that's why, to me, there's a delusional road one way or the other. The one you think you can buy a star, or the one you think you can win with these 2 guys.
So when we spoke about it last week in our Accurate Pembroke Pines Report, people who don't listen to the podcast, please make sure you grab that one. Lots of screaming and yelling. So here's my point. Okay, so let's go back to last week, because we always do. Orlando Alzagari, basketball savant. How many years, if you tear it down to the bottom, do you think a team in general would have to go through with 15, 18, 22, 25 wins? Just give me your rough estimate. How many years do you think it would take?
3 to 5 years.
Okay. I think closer to the 5 years based on the model of Cleveland, based on the model of Oklahoma City, based on those models. I just don't know if the stomach is there to endure that in this market, because we are a different kind of market who's been let down by our Dolphins, who were let down 20 years by our Panthers. It took forever to build that back. Big O, I love what's going on now. I know they're going to win this series against Toronto. I see another path to the Stanley Cup final. It's awesome. What people are forgetting, before Barkov and before Ekblad and even during for a while, there were 20 god-awful years where just getting to the playoffs and making a series was the be-all, end-all. I'm saying
Bubba, you didn't have the owner you have now, and you didn't have the GM you have now. And the GM you have now is in the moment. The GM we have in Miami is not in the moment. And that's the problem, Bubba.
I think he is in the moment, maybe too much in the moment. I think you're contradicting yourself. I think.
Okay. I like that.
All right.
Correct. I like that. I think
the problem is
what I mean by in the moment is the GM of the Panthers understands the landscape and how to attack it. The GM of the Heat is stuck in a rut somewhere, and he doesn't really have a good feel how to get out of this rut. He wants to keep staying on let's go back to last week's show, the hamster wheel. Oh, let's go search for a star we can't afford.
Right.
Or probably doesn't want to come here. Oh, well, no, let's stay with what we have, status quo, because we can sell to fans that we're at least a playoff team or barely. Please buy our tickets. And we're not willing to take the 8 steps back to become more of an expansion team again, unfortunately, because our fans will abandon us. Well, dude, this is where a billionaire says, I got to bite the bullet because I got to do what's best for the long term of this franchise. We need to reset, because where we're at, we're never going to get to a championship again.
Well, Big O, I would say this. Do you believe that history matters for a team going forward, what it did before? Does the past possibly reflect what the future could be? And here, you know where I'm going with this.
No, you don't. No, you don't, because you didn't listen to my first segment. And being born in 66 in Belgrade, Florida, and raised in Miami my entire life, I have realized that I am such a gifted and blessed human being in sports here. Why? Because I lived the Dolphins when I was 7 and 8 years old, and I watched them. Were they ever like that again? Never. I lived the Hurricanes from 83 to 91. I watched it all. They won 4 titles in such a short time. Yeah, they won one in 2001, but the 4 title run in such a short time. Amazing. Did I ever see that again? No, that's history. History, to determine the future. Then I lived the Marlins, and Dabrowski came here with Huizinga, and he built both World Series teams. The 97, and in the fire sale, he got pretty much 90%, 92% of the team that won the 03. Did that ever return again? No, it did not. The Miami Heat from 06 to 13 won 3 titles, and they had mega superstars leading the team constantly. Have they returned to that? Nope.
Two
so that's what my first segment was about.
But I'm saying the Heat have done.
Wait a minute. Panthers are on the brink of possibly going to a 3rd Stanley Cup. And what I told everybody here on this platform, embrace it, make love to it, kiss it, enjoy it, but take part in as much as you can, because it'll never happen again, my brother. Because that's the history.
And I see Heat history. Remember how Pat Riley spoke on Friday about the different incarnations of his team? He spoke about 13 rebuilds.
Yeah.
If you live the Heat, you saw rebuild 1. Now, again, Big O, you and I might be different here. I think we've aligned over the years as we've gotten older that it's not just about championships, that the Panthers' run to the finals against Vegas 2 years ago was a hell of a run also.
It's right. 6 years of this building.
Even if it wasn't a title. So my point being this, Pat Riley has done this with the Zoe and Hardaway build. Didn't get to the finals, but my God, you lived it.
Well, no, but we were cock-blocked by Michael.
Okay,
just
right. But that was a hell of a heat period, right? That was a hell of a run with the Knicks and the fights. Okay,
They would have won a title if Michael wasn't there. So, they steal at least one of those titles.
So that's one. That's one. Then they go out, and no one really thought you can get Shaq, except he was having his issues with Kobe. I remember being in Summer League in Orlando. Stan Van Gundy was there with me. Even he didn't think it would happen. That happened. They had the Shaq year. They had the run to the 2006 title. Very brief, sort of Marlins-like with Walker and
actually, bad luck. 05, they should have won. If it wasn't for the Shaq or Wade injury, they hand Detroit their ass, and they give San Antonio a run because Shaq was playing out of – that was the real Shaq.
Okay, so that's two rebuilds. Then you have the big three, which is undeniable, one of the greatest sporting periods in sports outside of Michael Jordan's run. That's three. I'm going to contend, and I know you're not going to agree with this, but even the run with Goran Dragic, while not to the ultimate top scale, I remember them being in Toronto, one victory away from going to the Eastern Conference Finals against LeBron and the Cavs. That was a pretty nice run, what Goran re-injected. Not the ultimate run, I get that, but an enjoyable time. Then Jimmy Butler, and don't discount the two.
It's the Dolphins in the 80s. The Heat are the Dolphins in the 80s right now.
Okay. And then don't discount the two Butler runs to the finals because the Dolphins weren't in the Super Bowl and the NBA Finals.
Yes, they were. 82-85.
I'm talking about more recently.
The Dolphins in the 80s right now, where they gave entertainment, where they got to a finals they didn't belong in.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So, and the bubble one, that was so freakish, everything that went on.
And you can minimize anything all you want. All I'm saying is, Pat Riley, to me, gave us 5 legitimate rebuilds, not 2, like the Marlins, not 1, like we're enduring right now with the Panthers, and God bless them, not 0, like the Dolphins since they were in the Super Bowl against the 49ers, I think when Joe Rose was catching passes.
No, it's the 70s. That doesn't even count.
So what I'm saying is
that Joe Rose team, we saw that they didn't even belong anywhere on the field with San Francisco.
I don't know if you still have your sound effect, but I have been following Orlando Alzagary's career for 3 decades. And I remember Orlando Alzagary's one of his themes over all these shows and all these venues, from soccer stadiums to 940 to 560 to the other end of the dial. I couldn't even find him because half the time they were broadcasting in Spanish. But he always spoke of blind-ass fans and how...
Blind-ass fan alert. Look out, everyone. We've got a blind-ass fan coming through.
And God bless you, Sean, for still keeping that on the board somewhere. So my point being this, I think of all the teams in town, the Heat deserve the benefit of the doubt because they've done it most often. So while you're saying that we're selling something with Giannis, I'm not disagreeing. And I tried to temper it in the story I wrote. While you're saying Durant's not enough, I'm not disagreeing. He gets you to 4 or 5, but I'm all of a sudden noticing that getting to 4 or 5, the Indiana Pacers are pretty damn well positioned to do some damage in the East. So what I'm saying is you never know. What you talk about is a puncher's chance. You give yourself a puncher's chance. They are doing that for themselves this year. So all I'm saying is this. Yes, this summer we are going to be teased. We are getting some of the hopium, that I like to sit back every now and then, in my air pipe and enjoy that a little bit. I get that also. But if there's anyone I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt to the possibility, it remains Pat Riley and Andy Ellisberg and Adam Simon and their scouting staff. Now, does Mickey Arison and Nick Arison want to take the possible financial risks? Because I'm telling you, Big O, if you get Giannis and you have Bam and you keep maybe one of your younger players, if you're willing to spend into the tax and the repeater tax and the luxury tax and the third apron and the 20th apron, there is a way. Money does find a way in the NBA.
They're going to need to find 77 3-point shooters, because if your team is led by Giannis and Bam, you now have 2 guys on the
field. Duncan Robinson might not ever be more valuable. Alec Burks might be the man. But what I'm saying is, the one thing Pat has shown me is when you get your big 3, he finds a Shane Battier, a Mike Miller, a Chris Birdman Anderson, a Ray Allen. He's very good at augmenting the good. I don't know how good he is at augmenting the not so good when you get James Johnson and Deion Waiters and Wade Ellington and Kelly Olynyk, and I get all that. All I'm saying is this. is I still believe. Matter of fact, I'll ask you this question on our Accurate Pembroke Pines report. Do you believe, Big O, there's a statute of limitations when it comes to optimism, when it comes to Pat Riley and his ability to create, to restructure, to create another build? Do you think his time has run out, like Dave Hyde asked when he asked him about being 80 years old?
Yeah, it's in the process, unfortunately.
Okay.
Yes, it's in the process, unfortunately. Again, I don't want him to get fired or leave or anything. I want him to do it on his own.
Okay.
But right now, I completely and have been disagreeing with the way they have built this team the last few years.
Okay.
You know, from the last, I see the difference is when I look at that last championship run, I look at it for what it is. You're a bunch of old overachievers, bro. Right there and then you had to get rid of Butler and get a bunch of picks and start to reload, and they're not willing to do those things. And if you weren't willing to do it at that moment, which is, it takes a lot of balls to come off a championship run and trade your best player for 4 or 5 first rounders, but it would have really set you up. And by now, we probably would have been seeing the fruits of the labor from that kind of stuff. But it is what it is. And all I'm seeing is what I told you. They're going down the same path and they continue to fail. And when I look at Giannis, it's like you're not getting anywhere with this guy. His best years are past him. You're about to get the last of his good and then the rest of his bad from here on out, and you're going to pay a lot of money for it. Why are you doing that? You're going to go after Durant, who's 36 years old and can make you a mid-tier playoff team.
Can make you the Pacers.
I think the Pacers are deeper and tougher than Miami.
Yeah, when you look at the roster construction, you can make an argument that with the Miles Turner and the Halliburton and Pascal Siakam, you can get something close to that. So again, we're talking puncher's chance. I would rather never go in just with a puncher's chance. I'd rather go in with a dynamic, kick-ass, all-around, 4-line deep like the Panthers. I agree.
Hardaway Zoe wasn't a puncher's chance, and Shaq and Wade was not a puncher's chance.
Jimmy was.
Is not
and playoff Jimmy got it done. So what I'm saying is there are multiple ways to do this. You do not have to agree. It doesn't mean you're wrong. It doesn't mean I'm right. I think there's a middle ground there also. But I just want to say this. And this is not shilling, because everyone knows I don't chill for the Heat, and I'll probably hear from them every time I'm on the goddamn Accurate Pembroke Pines report. And a matter of fact, guys, instead of contacting me after this, go buy some Acura's down there in Pembroke Pines. I heard they're running a hell of a deal right now. So, got to push product, Big O. So, what I would say is this, is that when you
got the China deal, bro. Let's go.
Quick. Buy them. You're getting your parts at face value. So, what I would say is this. I still believe there are people there who deserve a certain benefit of the doubt for what they've done, being 2 years removed from the NBA Finals. And I think this league, as much as any league shows, if you can position yourself better, not to be exhausted after the play-in when you play the Cavaliers and you're on every last breath, but like the Pacers, when you get to the first round directly, when you get through an injury hurt team like the Bucks directly, and you have something left like the Heat did in those playoff runs, you can be different. I still think there is a pathway for this Heat build without going to the very bottom, because Big O, I've lived at the very bottom. I roomed with Michael Beasley. It's not a great place to be.
I get it, Ira, but guess what? We're a shit fan base if we can't deal with this team.
He said it. Guy over there, Big O show. Don't buy his card.
We're a shit fan base if we can't support the Heat for the next 3 or 5 years where they're going through a rough one. We can do that. Dude, they give you 25 years of greatness, and then we're going to be complete dicks because they got to do the smart thing, the right thing? No, dude. Let's support that. That's
fine. That's fine. Matter of fact, I think they should issue rally towels that say, "Don't be a dick," and we'll waive those for 5 years.
They should, because
hey, if I get a free towel.
I mean, it's like, I don't know how somebody gives you all these presents for 25 years. And then all of a sudden, they got to go through a rough patch. Hey, we lost our job. It's mom and dad here. We're kind of struggling. We're taking some checks from the government. Kids, we won't have $30 for you. We only have one for you to, is the kid supposed to dump his parents? Like, you've gone through, I ran a supermarket with my dad once, right? and he had another business on the side. Okay. The other business was going up. I owned a Corvette. He needed the money. Guess what I did? Take the vet, go sell it. Sold the vet because he needed the money. I was driving around an Oldsmobile 98 for the next year.
Nice.
Am I going to call my dad a dick and say, oh, man, you took me from an 87 vet to like a 79, 98 or something? You know, and by the way, it was a gas guzzler, too. That shit was a boat. Funniest part, somebody stole it one day. Anyway, you got to be loyal. And that's my point. Yeah, you're not going to sell as many tickets. But, dude, if you're a Heat fan, you have to appreciate where you've been, because very few franchises have done this for 25 years. And the Heat has to also say that message at the same time. Hey, we've given you excellence for 25 years. We have tried to stay on top of it. But in today's world and the finances and the way things are, we have to do things in a different fashion. And this is why we have to go in this direction. We hope you support.
And one other thing, just because we do have actual hardcore basketball fans listening here every week on the Accurate Pembroke Pines Report. Also, there is a needle you have to thread for this reason. You still owe Charlotte, unfortunately, from the worst trade ever for Terry Rozier, a future first-round pick.
This is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about.
Yes, so you can't, but still, you know what? Even like Pat said with Jimmy and other stuff, you can't go back. You can't go back. Big O, you can't go back. You can't go back to terrestrial radio. You can't go back to cash currency. You can't go back. Same thing with the Heat. You can't go back. So you still have to thread the needle in 27 or 28 when that pick's due to Charlotte, that you're not giving them a number 2 pick that you could have. So whether it's trading to get that pick back, to getting yourself other first-round picks, to cover yourself, it makes it all that much difficult. Yes, have there been sins of the past? Sure, there have been. We've seen that. The Rozier trade, the pushing back the pick owed to the Thunder so they can take care of Hawkins and Jovic and get those players in those years. Yes, have they mortgaged their future? Yes, to a degree. So you're also working within those parameters to just keep that in perspective also.
I get that, but it doesn't help that you keep trying to put a Band-Aid or lipstick on a pig when you need to just tear the Band-Aid out and just tear the scab off.
I agree. You've made sins of the past. You can't have sins of the future. I agree with that.
And that's what they keep doing. They keep piling on another sin. Durant would be a sin. Believe it or not, Giannis will be a sin.
But Big O, not to the degree. You got a guy who's a top 3 MVP finalist
right now. But
you take
years, and you're going to get the back end, and you're going to get the bad one. And there, even if you get him, there's no guarantee you're a contender, bro.
No, the Bucks aren't a contender. So you're right. The Bucks had him. They won the one championship in 2021, I believe. And then that was it. And they went down. It's hard. It's like Bam said in his final interview. It's hard to win in this league. It is hard. Even for the Panthers, as great as they are, it's been hard against Toronto. It's not easy. So I'm of the thought, disagree with you a little, that if there is a moment to be seized, you at least consider it. You get everyone together. You decide whether to put up the puff of smoke for Giannis or not, for Durant or not. But you have to consider everything, and the short-term merits and the long-term merits. That's all I'm saying. And there will be a lot to consider, and there'll be a lot of reasons to continue to listen to the Accurate Pembroke Pines Report all summer.
I actually get excited more if you go tear it down and you get as many picks as possible, because I think they know how to draft now, and they do a much better job of it. And I can get excited with Spo working with a crap ton of young athletic guys that can run and fly around and shoot. I think Spo would work wonders. All right, quickly, 3 questions in the NBA. Pacers, Cavs. Pacers have taken complete control. Mitchell, obviously, with the ankle injury, that was brutal yesterday. Your thoughts on all of this?
The one-trick pony in the NBA of win or die on three-pointers. We've seen even the Celtics against the Knicks. You got to have something else in your arsenal. The Cavaliers were red hot on threes against the Heat. The Heat lose. But if you're a one-trick pony, your trick better be able to carry you through 2 months. It did for the Celtics last year in the playoffs. We're not so sure this year if it happens. There's got to be more than just one angle toward victory.
Are you buying Knicks here from here on out with the 2-1 lead and at home tonight?
No, I'm still buying Celtics because I believe they have more proven winners on their roster if everyone is healthy.
Well, the Warriors won the game they were we're going to win and that's it. It's over, because if Steph's not coming back,
yeah,
really have a real number one, Ira.
No, Jimmy, for all those times, he didn't want to go somewhere where he was going to have to be the number 2 man to someone, and all the questions of he was never going to play along player X, Y, and Z. Jimmy's at the point of his career. He needs the alpha next to him. He doesn't have it, and it's obvious. All of that said, I'm never willing to bet my future on a team that counts on Julius Randle, so I wouldn't count the Warriors out just yet.
But by the way, he did everything.
Oh, he looked great. I just don't trust him.
Wait. He looked great, but in that last quarter, he made a shit ton of mistakes, actually.
It's Julius Randle. You know what? I think the saying is Randles are going to Randle. Yes.
That's true. That is very true. All right, what do you got going on the Sentinel?
Well, it's interesting because I'm glad you asked me on the way out when I'm doing the Sentinel. Actually, my Ask Ira today was, hey, if not one of the great free agents and shoot for the stars, you got to do what the Knicks did when they found Jalen Brunson, a guy who was a second-tier free agent, identify and elevate. Again, Jalen Brunson's on a contract that pays less than Tyler Hero. The Knicks fleeced the Mavericks that offseason. For all the talk of Doncic, being traded, losing Brunson was just as huge. So I think I agree with you, and it's hard for me to say, but I agree with you. You need the right free agent at the right price point, at the right age to move forward. Basically, for as much as I wrote about Giannis today, for as much as we've spoken about Durant or even Zion, it's a matter of getting the value player in today's apron and tax NBA. And God bless the Knicks. They did that with Jalen Brunson. That's what the Heat need to find next.
Oh, we were gifted with Zoe at such a young age, bro. That was so awesome. All right, follow him on Twitter at Ira Heatbeat and catch his work there at the South Florida Sun Sentinel. Ira, as always, appreciate you. We will catch up next week.
Appreciate it, and thank you, all you blind-ass fans out there.
You got it. There you go. Ira Winderman. And, of course, visit our friends at Acura of Pembroke Pines. The 17th anniversary sale is going on right now. And, by the way, the ZDX, they still have the 2024 models pre-tariff. Take advantage. The 2025 models, right now, the tariffs are lowered, so maybe, things will be all right. But 0% financing for 72 months. Get electrified. You get over 300 miles to the charge. It's a beautiful thing. Check out the fleet of certified pre-owned vehicles. They got a lot that is just absolutely loaded. And if you own or lease a vehicle, Mike Chan, Jordan Ferber, ready there for you in the service center, which is second to none. 15601 Pines Boulevard, just off of I-75 in Pines. Finest dealership in the business, baby. It is Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines.
You've been listening to the Acura of Pembroke Pines Miami Heat and NBA Report with Ira Winderman. When you're looking for award-winning service and great deals from the #1 volume Acura sales dealership in the Southeast United States, you go to Craig's in Acura of Pembroke Pines at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
Right. By the way, there's a little dip in Bitcoin. It's down like 1%. It's down to 102,913. It's down right under 103,000. Sell it all. Caspa up 12.5. It's just over 12 cents. It was working its way to 13 cents, but it's kind of come back down a little bit. It's a parabolic run, bro. There's always a little bit of a correction. Whenever you see a parabolic run, you don't buy during the parabolic run. You wait for the parabolic run to stop, and then there's usually a little bit of a correction, and then that's when you can get in the dip. That's where you take advantage of. What do we got here on the chat board? Big Johnson, Skylar Tipton, Riley sees Hero as a long-term piece. He's not a 1, but could be a 2 or 3 with the right star. We can agree to disagree on that one, I'm sure. Yeah, no, he's not even he's barely a 3. Barely a 3. Listen, bro, when they talk about your star, when other teams are talking about your star, so-called star, that he doesn't defend and it's easy to score on him. Yeah, dude, I want no part of that. You can't be a lead dog when they make fun of you. Yeah, no. Yeah, I'm not doing that. So, Skylar, you and I will never agree on that. I will not agree with Pat Riley or the Miami Heat. Tyler Hero might be a 3 if your 1 and 2 are like absolute superstars. Okay, if it's LeBron and Wade in their prime, maybe they could use Tyler as a 3 because those two guys are going to bring so much attention. So I can see that. Okay, not a great 3. I still want Bosch because is Tyler. Let me ask you something, Skyler. Skyler, is Tyler going to get me the rebound that Bosch got me? Probably not. Going to get me the block in the corner on Danny Green? Probably not. Going to make the assist to Ray Allen for the game winner, or he's going to try to shoot it himself? And who do you want? Ray Allen as a number, what was he on this team? What was he on the big 3? Ray Allen. This is how much, okay, our standard has been destroyed here with the Miami Heat. Okay, Ray Allen was player number 7 on the roster, 6 on the roster. Who do you want taking that final shot? Tyler, Skyler, or do you want Ray Allen? Sorry, brother. Sorry. Yeah, you and I will never agree on that. Okay? Tyler Hero is not the answer. Never has been, never will be. Bobrovsky was studied. All no goals allowed last night. That's right. And the one goal they've allowed in 113 minutes was an own goal. It was a bounce off of Seth Jones. It was a ricochet. Ricochet! And there's Brian Ratke. James Vivinetti, Fernando Perez, Frankie Fresco says, no, I'm very happy you gave that bet. Oh, the 100 losses. Now you're happy because it's on. Now they're getting back on pace for it. This Panthers team could win 3 or 4 in a row. Star players signed up for a while. Yeah, they have a shot. That's why I'm telling you, enjoy the hell out of this. Enjoy it, man. Enjoy it. He goes, so you think the Dolphins won't win a Super Bowl in our lifetime again? I hope you're wrong. Well, there's no sign of it right now, bro. There's zero sign of it. We can do all the blind ass fan alert stuff we want, but there is no sign. Let's get to our 3A Graphics sports calendar and the amazing Alan Blanco. Panthers last night, blank, dominate, and kick the Maple Leafs' ass 2-0. They tie the series 2-2. Verhaeghe, clutch. Amazing. Bennett, by the way, also added the goal. Just absolute studs all over the place. Game 5 will be Wednesday at 7 o'clock. Thunder last night defeated the Nuggets 92-87. That series is tied at 2 apiece. SGA finished with 25 points, 6 rebounds, and 6 assists. The Pacers over the Cavs, 129-109. Indy is now leading 3-1. Donovan Mitchell only had 12 points because he left with an ankle injury. Although he shot like shit before he left. He was 1 of 5 from three-point range and 3 of 11 from the field. Celtics and Knicks tonight, 7:30 tip. And at 10 o'clock, T-Wolves at the Warriors. And on Saturday, Minnesota pounded Inter Miami 4-1 in MLS soccer. Crazy, crazy stuff. The NFL also has announced it will open the season with the Eagles at the Cowboys at 8:20 on that Thursday night. And Shams Charania has reported in paraphrasing it, Giannis Antetokounmpo is now open to a trade and exploring a move from Milwaukee. That is your 3A Graphics sports calendar. If your company, your corporation, your business needs custom printing and embroidery, please call my guy, Alan Blanco. He'll take care of it. 786-618-1443. Ray Grullon is in the house. Alex says the atmosphere in the building last night gave me goosebumps. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Andres Orozco. What do we see here? Why couldn't most people not understand that these original tariffs were mostly a leverage bargaining tool? Trump is an excellent business negotiator overall. Well, I don't know about the whole business negotiating crap or whatever, but he was right. I wouldn't have done it myself because it created turmoil. People panicked. They sold their, assets and they lost money. Small businesses have been suffering a lot because of the tariffs. You know what I'm saying? So there's a much more decent and responsible way to do it. But here's the catch. Okay? Trump doesn't have time to do the decent and responsible way, which would take months to a year or 2 years to get all these tariffs done. So he had to do it in an all hell's breaking loose type of manner where he just shocked the world, threw down all the tariffs, and then either they dealt with it and lived with it, which they don't want to, or they came running to the table to negotiate because we're the number one purchaser in the world. And by the way, let me add something. He kept 30% tariffs on China, and China lowered it to 10% on us. Remember, they sell us 5-1. So if we were at 10 and 10, ladies and gentlemen, for every $100 they make on tariffs, we make $500. Okay? Because we buy 5 times the amount of goods that China buys from the United States. So China's only charging us 10% on 20% of the goods that they ship to us, because they ship 100%, which then we get a lot more. So that's how it works out. And so not only at 10 and 10 would you be at a major advantage. Again, every 1,000 they make, you make 5. Every 5 million they make, you do the math. Every 5 billion they make, you do the math. It's simple. You're making a lot more. You're making 5 times. So, and he raised it to 30. So now you're making 15x. You think that they're not going to want to straighten out the final issues with the fentanyl and all that kind of stuff? Yeah. Because they're going to want to bring it down to 10. So that way we're both even at 10 and 10. So, Brett, you're right to a certain extent, but it's not right the way he went about it, but he has no choice. He has 18 months. He has the midterms. So he had to get this turned around quickly. And if it works, he will have no problem in the midterms. And if it doesn't work, the Dems will take over in the midterms. And by the way, for you hardcore Dems, which I laugh at you all out there, that you're all like, well, we'll see the details. And yeah, and we'll see about UK and all that kind of stuff. And it's like, yo, bro, you idiots put him in office. Okay. If your candidate didn't suck so badly, America wouldn't have voted for Trump. But what they were doing is voting for a Democrat. So, you know what I mean? It's just like, it's just Democrats and Republicans. You're just a bunch of clowns. You just are. That's all. This is why in politics, I don't care about Democrats or Republicans. And this is why I always say, you know what, dude? You pray for the best, prepare for the worst. Whoever's in office, prepare for the worst. Doesn't matter what side it is, but just hope for the best. So if anybody's like dissing that they get a China deal done, then you're not an American. We need the deal done so people can live their lives and everybody can purchase the stuff at normal prices and things like that. We can't have 140% tariffs. We can't have 80. We can't have 50. Okay? If we're going to live with 10% across the board, then so be it. That's fine. But the other way, you know what I'm saying? So it's about hoping that it turns out turns out good for all of us. You know what I'm saying? And a deal and a trade deal. In the end, all these trade deals are illegal, by the way, because they're not approved by Congress and it's in our Constitution. But because this is all chaotic, All these deals will be good for the next 4 years. And then you'll have to renegotiate those once you have a new administration in. Whatever, it is what it is. But again, America voted for him. This is what you got to deal with, dude. That's it. So, and he nailed it on this one, on the China thing. He nailed it. He got him to the table and quickly. Never saw that coming. So, Yater Castro, LB is in the house. He's loving his XRP. Yeah, they were like 10, where it was 10%. I don't know where XRP is right now because I haven't been looky. It's down 9%. It's up 9% to $2.55. So good for you, bro. I got a little XRP too. What else do we have? Corey Stanton. The standard has definitely dropped with the heat. Shaking my head, says Andres. Ricky, Big O, it's all about Florida Panthers. Let's go Cats. Damn right. Horn Dog is in the house. He's loving round 2 of Ira and myself. Juan Rosa, Pat is good and all, but I honestly think he should just retire and let someone else take control. Well, right now, he doesn't have a good feel for what this league is and what you got to do. And this whole thing of trying to keep putting a Band-Aid or lipstick on a pig makes no sense. None whatsoever. You're going nowhere with Giannis. And you're not even getting him anyways. And you're certainly not going anywhere with Durant. That's for damn sure. And again, what you have to give up, by the time you get those guys, it's just not worth it, dude. It's not worth it. You really got to turn the entire franchise around and clean slate, man. John Padilla, welcome aboard, sir. Thank you. Don't forget to smash the hell out of the like button. It is very important that you smash the hell out of the like button. It gets the algorithms going. Thank you all out there for smashing it. And the like button, too. What else? Kyle Cockrell. We are pumping, baby. Caspa and Bitcoin to the moon. These are the only 2 cryptos I'm messing with going forward. The 2 I believe will be used in the future: Bitcoin digital gold and Caspa digital silver. Can't say I disagree with him. You know I love myself a little disagreement. But I can't. When you're right, you're right. That's how we roll here. Lenny says, good morning, Big O, Sean, and all of you out there. Happy Monday. It's all pie in the sky until the Heat can actually land a player. We are stuck like Chuck. Yeah. We might get Giannis when he's no longer able to attack the basket and go for threes like older guys are doing now. He's never developed a great three-point shot, bro. That ain't ever going to happen with him. He doesn't have that skill set. Just doesn't. He would have already developed it a long time ago. And I don't want him anymore at that point. Damo, spot on concerning supporting the Heat. I mean, we should be good fans. And I get that the Heat is worried about it, but we should be good fans and support them through thick and thin, too. It's not an easy thing, but they have given us so much winning. It's just, it's only fair to treat them that way. But we are, as fans, we're afraid to take that step back. And as a team, they're terrified of taking a step back. It's crazy, dude. It's crazy. By the way, our friends at Subaru of Pembroke Pines, 16100 Pines Boulevard. And you see the rain out there, and we're headed now for the rainy season. It starts now, and really it kicks off heavy in June, as you all know. I don't need to tell you if you live here in South Florida. And the next thing that I'm doing, I'm not going to have a car anymore, man. In 26, I'm going to get me an SUV. This will be the last year, and I haven't decided yet, but one of the ones that I am looking at is the Solterra. And the Solterra at Subaru is a beautiful SUV, dude. They've got the premium right now for $297 a month. 0 down and 0% financing for 72 months, bro. You are going to love the Solterra. Go check it out. All electric drivetrain. It is just absolutely amazing. You're going to love it. Go check it out. 0 down, 72% financing. The Forester base, you can get it for $257 a month. Another SUV, so you can deal with the weather here in South Florida. Sign and Drive, 3.9% financing. That QR code you're seeing right there in the billboard, you use that, and you mentioned Big O, you are going to get $500 off your next Subaru. The Outback base, you can get it for $247 a month, 2.9% financing, Sign and Drive. The Crosstech base, $237 a month, Sign and Drive, 3.9% financing, and they've got a great selection of the Crosstechs out there too. So go check it out and tell them that Big O sent you at, of course, Subaru of Pembroke Pines. All right. Juan says it's hard to make the amount of money Bam is making to play the way he plays. He's no rookie. Years of the same shit with this dude. The fact that the Heat thinks that he's a franchise player and then you can build around him, that's sad. I'm telling you, bro, the standard's been lowered. Lowered. That's all. They used to collect superstars. Now they can't even bring one. Collect them. Now they can't even get one. Let's see. Ocala Joe. Morning, no. I'm so glad I loaded up on dandruff at 7 cents. Smashing it while traveling. I think he meant like Caspa. I don't know how it came out dandruff, but we now know not to hang around Ocala Joe because he'll go like this and then you get like a snowplow. You know, so yeah. Watch out. Ocala Joe loaded up and he's got an avalanche off his shoulder there, apparently. He loaded up on dandruff. Yeah. It's not good. It's not a good thing. Yeah. You should have loaded up on Head and Shoulders so you can avoid the dandruff. I'm just saying, Ocala Joe. Okay. Castle says, let's slow down, people. Let's see if the Dolphins can even win a playoff game this decade. Exactly. Amanda Medeiros, thank you for the love in the super chat. Are we in Toronto's head now? Yes, there's no doubt. No doubt. Minus 200 favorites now. Well, obviously, Vegas also thinks that they're in their heads right now. Yeah. Remember, folks, Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo. And you can make a Bitcoin or Ethereum donation, which we always appreciate that. We thank you for making a Bitcoin or Ethereum donation. Thank you. Big O pick a winner. Dandruff versus True Fin Fan. Oh, no, nothing beats True Fin Fan. Yeah, no. He might light you on fire with those farts. So, yeah, no, unfortunately. Ocala can do some damage, but, it's dandruff. True Fin Fan does real damage. Real damage. So, yeah, stay away from True Fin Fan when he's had some Mexican food. Kyle Cockrell. I think Caspa is dandruff in Spanish. Good translation. I like that. Steven says, did you see Matthew Wink at the Toronto? Oh, yeah. Yes. Yeah, Kachuk is a special dude, bro. He's wired differently. We don't have anything like that. The Heat, the Dolphins, the Inter Miami squad, they're not even close to that, dude. Not even close to that. What else do we? Oh, by the way, the NFL announcing that you're opening up the season with Philadelphia at Dallas. What a fluff start. I get it, dude. The fan base is enormous and super loyal, and they travel well, and they watch the TV and all that. The Dallas Cowboys don't deserve any of this, dude. It's all hollow. They win nothing. They are, since Jerry Jones owned them post Jimmy, they might be the biggest chokers in the NFL. Nobody fails in bigger moments than the Cowboys. Nobody gets more overhyped every year by ESPN and Fox and CBS than the Cowboys. Nobody shows, no team gets shown on television more that doesn't deserve it than the Cowboys. And I get it. Cowboy fans, you're awesome. You're all over the place, and your team's an absolute embarrassment, which is amazing because all you can do is kind of like Dolphin fans. You just live off the past. Except it's actually even worse for the Dolphins, but that's another subject. But I don't know why the Cowboys keep getting all this elite attention and all these primetime games when they don't deserve to be in any of them. They should be treated like what they are, one of the shittiest franchises in the NFL. But if it isn't because of that stadium, that fan base, the ratings, all that kind of stuff, it's amazing. Sure. Props to you fans out there because you guys keep it going. It's not the team's accomplishments. The team's accomplishments just don't warrant anything. You know? Amazing to me. What's the other thing I saw over the weekend? Inter Miami. I know this is not something really big or anything, and I'll be really quick on this. Okay? I'll get to a Dolphins topic in a minute. I got a couple other things, too, I want to talk about. But anyway, for those of you that are of Argentine culture, I don't know if any of you are watching right now, that you're also, a sports fan and you watch all the other stuff. This is what this has become. It's become a novelty. It's become a way for Argentine fans to reminisce with Messi and some of the other players and go see them and, kind of remember who they were. Messi still can play, but because of the way he has managed the team, I'm just wondering on Saturday, could they have used Leo Campana? Could they have used Robert Taylor? Why do they keep getting rid of talent? Talent that they need. Suarez can't play. He's got a bad knee. And it's finally caught up to him. Here's where you needed Leo. And for whatever reason, to appease Messi, you bring his bootleg buddy as a coach who has shown me absolutely nothing, dude. Nothing. Because he's Messi's friend. And then you bring all of Messi's buddies and all that. And you know what, dude? I'm happy for all you folks out there from Argentina. Enjoy it, all that. Okay? But I got to compartmentalize all of this. I'm not from Argentina. I get it. I appreciate it. That's Messi, but I'm about winning. And it was about winning the MLS Cup. It was about winning significant stuff. And they are not winning anything. So the greatest player in the world has come to the league that everybody laughs at. All these elitists that just follow the Premiership and Serie A and the Bundesliga, and they all laugh at the MLS. Right? Because, anybody can come here and just dominate. Well, what's Messi doing? He brought in his bunch of guys. They had the best record in the league last year and got embarrassed thoroughly in the first round. And now it looks like people have figured them out, and they're running them right off the pitch. This has turned out to be an embarrassment for the Moss brothers. Messi may not look at it that way because he's just getting his money, but at least for the history of South Florida, he's a failure, dude. It's just bullshit. The only thing he's bringing is bullshit, fluff. It's like an exhibition game all the time. If you don't win the MLS Cup this year, you're done. You're done. You're done. That means the league knows what you are, and we'll see if they can bounce back from the rut that they've been in now for a few weeks. Because if you put it together, CONCACAF and what's been going on in MLS, it's not a good record lately. It's an embarrassing one. So, I don't know, dude. If it's not important for him, but in my eyes, Messi is one of the greatest chokers in South Florida sports history. If that's how he wants to go down, because it doesn't matter to him, it just matters what he did in soccer worldwide, right? And nobody will ever, but it's embarrassing that he comes to this league and he can't even get out of the first round of the MLS playoffs. That's pretty bad. That's pretty bad. Dynasties in hockey were regular until 2000s. Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves before we start talking about dynasty with the Panthers or anything. Let's just see if they can get back to the Stanley Cup championship this year, and hopefully win it. Then we'll be all right. Then we can, then we can move on and feel better about the team. Okay. Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Stephen Baker, thank you for the love on Venmo. Big O, been thinking about the draft. Kind of looks like Greer drafted for our backup head coach. Weaver, thoughts? Have you been listening to the show? I didn't say they necessarily drafted for him, but what I am saying is it sounds to me like they are preparing just in case they have to move on from Mike McDaniel in the regular season, and they could go to Weaver, because they did not sacrifice anything in the future. And in fact, they invested in the future by sending one of their current picks to the future from a 4th to a 3rd, which was a great trade. Great trade. So we'll see. But we've talked about that on the show. Yeah. There's enough people in the building that don't believe in the guy. So hopefully, see, the problem I think that happened with the Dolphins was they extended him and all that because we were extending everybody, which again doesn't make sense, but whatever. And then I think they realized as the offseason was going on, they didn't really take a pulse of the building. And they didn't understand how many people just don't believe in this guy. And people were honest about getting the hell out and not wanting to come back. And some wanted to get out but couldn't get out. But it was known. And then the Jalen Ramsey thing gives you, a real serious issue. It's bad, man. It's bad. It is bad. Not as bad as the New Orleans QB room. Derek Carr retires, and it's Tyler Show, Spencer Rattler, and Jake Haener. That is your QB room. Holy shit. Corso, thank you for the love on the super chat. He says, dinner with 3 people alive or dead. Who you got? Shit. Jimi Hendrix is definitely one of them. Walter Payton. And Randy Rhoads. There you go. All right. Those are my 3. Aints are officially tanking for Arch. With that QB room, it's kind of easy, isn't it? I think it's pretty easy. NFL. So Dolphins, we now find out that they open the season with the Cowboys and the Eagles at 8:20. The Chargers and Chiefs will be in Brazil in week 1. So what's happening November 16th? Because it hasn't been officially announced. Yet, you know, we talked about it here where the Madrid mayor let it out that it was the Dolphins and the Bengals. And then lately, people have been saying that it's going to be the Commanders. Let me get that right. For now, at least, right? Until Trump gets an executive order together and he rename them the Redskins. Anyway. Either way, it's going to be a great game because at least you have a great matchup. Now, the Dolphins have to bring it, and they have to hopefully entertain that game. We want to go to that game, by the way, and you can make a donation and send us there. There's a QR code there. Sean can show it to you. And we are trying to go to Spain to see whether it's the Redskins, whether it's the Commanders or the Bengals. Okay. But it is seriously now looking like the Commanders because a lot of people, and again, this is not coming from some kind of insight or anything like that. I'm just kind of going by feel because the mayors, you know, I can't say the mayor of Madrid had for sure the information. It might have been something he overheard, like, oh, we're thinking about these games. I heard maybe the Bengals or whatever. And then he, you know, let it out. And then they settled on Washington. And I think that because of the young quarterback, I think it's probably something that makes a lot of sense to bring him out to Europe and showcase, you know, Daniels. So for me, I actually am leaning more to the Washington one being the opponent for the Miami Dolphins. Again, I'm not telling you by somebody in the building told me or I heard or whatever, which I would tell you if I heard, hey, it's going to be this, I would have told you. Okay. I haven't found out or anything like that. But from everything that I'm reading around, not that I know anything, just kind of seems like it. That it's going to be Washington, which, again, I don't expect a good season. I expect a mediocre season from the Finns. But this is the one game where players will get excited about it and all that kind of stuff. I think you got a good chance of them giving you a hell of an effort that day, and hopefully one that, you know, makes it respectful for us Dolphin fans. Think Blue Dodgers is in the house. He's smoking it up in LA traffic and smashing the like button. Thank you. Still not over 100 likes. Sad. What else? Scott Bonus. Good morning to you, sir. You just woke up. Good for you, bro. I like it. And I appreciate it. We appreciate it, Sean and myself. Oscar Rojas. He's smashing the like button. Thank you. Oh, by the way, you guys know I've been preaching Bitcoin forever. Okay. And one of the things that I've been preaching about Bitcoin, and listen, I've gotten it from you guys. Oh, it's a Ponzi scheme and this and that, when it was at 18 and 17 and 22 and 28 and 30 and 45. And people weren't believing. We don't get nearly as much because by now, if you're still in doubt, your ignorance is pretty bad, or your lack of education is scary because you haven't even taken the time to find out about the most important asset in the world. But one of the things that I constantly told you, Sean, did I ever tell the public that they should listen to Biden and the administration about Bitcoin? Did I ever tell? No, right? How about banks? Did I ever say banks and those kind of institutions, you should listen to them when they talk about Bitcoin?
No.
No. So Vanguard shit all over Bitcoin a little time back. Let me show you here. This is January 28 of 2024. No Bitcoin ETFs of Vanguard. Janelle Jackson, Vanguard executive, stressed that cryptocurrency is an immature asset class that has little history, no inherent economic value, no cash value, and can create havoc within a portfolio. Right? So that's Vanguard. Well, Vanguard now has gone out of their way to say, just over a year ago, they went against it. Now Vanguard reports they hold $7 billion of Bitcoin exposure. Do you think they just bought that this week? All $7 billion at once? No, I think that would have, juiced Bitcoin pretty good. No, it didn't happen. Why? Because when they were lying about Bitcoin and saying how it would destroy your portfolio, they were loading up. When Jamie Dimon, who was fined $30 million for manipulating silver because he's a lying sack of shit, and so is his company. And when they're shitting all over Bitcoin, his European arm was buying Bitcoin. And we told you about that. Now, all these banking institutions, they're all in on Bitcoin. They all want to custody Bitcoin. They want to sell Bitcoin. It's funny how the tune changes, huh? You had one administration that did everything to try to kill it, even illegal stuff like Choke Point 2.0 that the Biden administration put out. Trump was completely against Bitcoin in his last go around. His sons got to him this time around, and they orange pilled his ass. Only makes sense. Warren Buffett was shitting all over Bitcoin until now that he's retiring, and he says, well, if I'm 40 and under, I would invest in Bitcoin. If it's going to 1 million by 2030, who cares if you're 60? 65, it turns 1 million. If you're 55, 60, it turns 1 million. Why under 40 now, Warren? Oh, you just don't want to go out and admit that you lied and you were wrong about it. And you're Warren Buffett, which you forgot more than we'll ever know. But when it came to Bitcoin, you and Charlie Munger were lying and deceiving the public because all your money was in the banking system. It's interesting. That's why we tell you, don't pay attention to these assholes. And look, those of you that didn't and kept investing, you're way up now. Those of you that gave in to the FUD, you lost out on a great opportunity. But with Bitcoin, you're still not too late. So get on board. Get on board. Let's see, what else do we have? Big O, would you give the Cutler's Edge Pro MVP on the Panthers game last night? I would give it a Bob. Bob was outstanding. He had 23 saves last night. He came in clutch several times. A game that you needed. You can hand it out to a lot of people. Verhaeghe was clutch, like he always is. But if I'm going to go Cutler's Edge Pro MVP of the night, we got to go Sergei Bobrovsky. I thought he was going to play it, but he didn't. Close of it, I thought maybe. By the way, 954-472-0622. If you're looking for landscaping for your home, your business, call my friends. Call William Quigley, great dude. 954-472-0622.
The MVP of the night is brought to you by CuttersEdgePro.com. Servicing HOAs, condominiums, townhomes, commercial properties, corporate parks, and malls throughout South Florida. CuttersEdgePro.com. Providing South Florida MVP performance every day of the year.
All righty. We are out of here. We appreciate all of you for tuning in, and thank you. Smash the like button. Please visit our amazing sponsors. Don't forget Caneswear. You could use our code BIG010. You will get 10% off. Visit our great friends at BigCheeseMiami.com. Of course, Toyota of Hollywood, 1841 North State Road 7. Tell them the Big O sent you. They'll take care of you. We shall see you, and we thank Sean Stanley. We shall see you tomorrow morning. Same time, same place, same bat channel.